Good morning. Good morning, good morning. I hope you are all having a beautiful day. So today's theme, daily devotion, is the ancestral memories of your body. What I find absolutely exciting and fascinating about science is that some of what comes from science, it comes from the perceived perception of someone who thought outside the box, or somebody that had always perceived that way and a scientist went to prove them wrong or prove them right and discovered something. Years ago, I had a discussion with an older person that I respected very much at the time. And I remember not the entire discussion. Like, I don't remember everything that we talked about, but I remember the gist of the conversation because it has influenced my life and has influenced other things that I perceive. And the discussion was wound around the idea that your biological family's memory, your ancestral memory, affects your manifestation in this life. So you're born into this life, into a family, and your ancestral things that happen to your family affect your body, your physical body in this life. And at the time of the discussion, there were no studies out on DNA, and matter of fact, I think they had maybe just started logging DNA, maybe, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. And now there are studies that say what trauma the mother goes through affects the body of the baby in the womb and that baby's baby, So they've done research and they've done studies, and there's more and more evidence that says, yes, what you do to your body and what happens to you in your life can affect your children at a genetic level. And the discussion that I had with this person years ago, it made me think about what has happened to me, or what had not yet happened to me in my life, but what could happen to me in my life and how that would affect my children. And there was a time when I was younger that I had decided never to have children because of the things that had happened to my mother's family. There's a lot of horrible things that had happened to their family, and I did not want to pass that trauma on to my children because it's genetic, and it has affected my life negatively. But with that negative, I have conscientiously tried to turn that around. Can't say I've always been successful, but I've tried. Now, I did have children, and though the genetic things that I have given them are not always good, but the things that I did when I had them, I worked very hard to negate those long-term processes. I don't know if I was successful. I have no idea. But the whole theme is, what in your genetic ancestry affects you and affects your life now? And are there things that you can do to work through and forgive and spiritually release those things? So in theory, you don't pass them on. Now, I will know that there are some of you that are watching this that already have children. Your children are in their 20s and 30s, and you're like, I wish I'd have known that then. Well, of course, we always do. But what can you do about it now? What you can do about it now is face that ancestry yourself and forgive and acknowledge that ancestry and know that it isn't you, and that you can turn it around in your life. You can positively impact others so that they do not have that genetic trauma in their ancestry. They being the ancestors. So, I don't know. It's a deep topic, and it really kind of, for me anyway, the science part of it kind of over time has been validated what my heart felt was right. Like the conversation I had with that person was, this is a truth. I don't know why it's a truth. I don't really understand how that works. And I was very skeptical, but at the same time, it felt correct. But just because it feels correct doesn't mean there's science to back it up. So sometimes you have to wait for science to catch up. Which leads me to another topic. I had a discussion with someone the other day about science and spirituality. And science and medicine, and science and philosophy, and science and theology. I don't have all the answers. But I do a lot of thinking, and I don't think I'm a completely... I hope that I am not narrow-minded. You know, I recognize that I could be, and I hope that I'm not. I hope that I am that person that takes on new data, processes it, and allows it to set within me and find its place with all the other stuff that I have running around in my head and in my heart and in my spirit. But I feel like science, in some ways, is coming to a place where it's validating more and more of what people consider the spiritual hokey pokey. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not a scientist, but I hope that it is. And I also hope on the other side of it that the hokey pokey, spiritual, religious, don't taint the waters of science and allow pure science to be pure science. We need it. I mean, pure science is what's given us so many things that have helped us. Pure science hasn't always helped us, but you have to find a balance within that. We are spiritual beings living in a physical existence, and we need science. We do. We need math, we need science, we need scientists, we need people that challenge that boundary and do it in a non-spiritual way. I'm not a scientist, but that doesn't mean I don't respect them, and we need them. Not everything's a conspiracy, people. That was the other part of the conversation yesterday, and I really wanted to say that yesterday. I almost logged into Facebook just to say at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, not everything is a conspiracy. Not everything's a conspiracy, okay? Okay. Now that I've said it, I feel better. We get wrapped up in things, and maybe there is a conspiracy out there on this and that and the other. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But if you get wrapped up in all the conspiracies, you're not going to live your life. And you need to live it. Find your peace and live it. Find your center. Pull the energy from the earth around you and not from your fellow man. Don't drain your fellow man. The earth is infinite in her giving, as long as we give a little bit back. And we take care of her. So, take some time away from electronics today, okay? Take some time to find your peace. Think about things in your life. Allow things to come in and settle with you and find their place. Don't just disregard without mind or thought. Don't hold on to the conspiracies. They will weigh you down. Live your life. And ponder your ancestry and how that affects your life now, and can you fix it? Are there things you can consciously fix from your ancestry? Yes, there are, but you have to be mindful of them, and you have to know what it is that comes from your ancestors and what it is that you can work on. It's a beautiful thing. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a loving day and a day filled with light. And I will see you tomorrow in prayer.